Before I begin, do me a small favor. If stories about real lives, hidden feelings, and the moments that change us forever fascinate you, top subscribe. Turn on notifications. Because what I'm about to share, most people take secrets like this to the grave. I don't think I truly started living until I turned 64. Isn't that strange? Most people say life winds down at that age. They talk about slowing down, shrinking their world, accepting that the exciting chapters are already written. But for me, it felt like someone had quietly opened a locked door inside my chest. And standing on the other side of it was the girl I used to be, the girl I buried, the girl I told myself was irresponsible, unrealistic, inappropriate, too much. I remember sitting there that morning, whispering to myself, Elizabeth, what did you deny yourself all these years? The question didn't feel gentle. It felt like an accusation. And an awakening. Bruce didn't say a word. He didn't need to. Sometimes support doesn't come from hands. It comes from eyes. From the quiet permission someone gives you just by seeing you. And when his eyes met mine, steady and warm, I felt brave enough to finally reach forward, to grab hold of something I hadn't touched in decades. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start where everything really began. It had been 12 years since David passed. 12 long, echoing years of quiet mornings, quiet dinners, quiet nights. David had been a good man. Responsible. Predictable. Solid. But safe love can sometimes be a small love. And after he was gone, the house didn't just feel empty. It felt unfinished. Like a life paused in the middle of a sentence. I filled my days with routine. Grocery lists. Gardening. Folding laundry with the TV murmuring in the background just so the silence wouldn't swallow me whole. And the basement. Oh, I avoided the basement like it held ghosts. Dusty boxes. Old furniture. Memories sealed in cardboard. The physical evidence of entire decades I told myself I'd deal with later. Later finally arrived that morning. Sunlight slipped through the basement window in thin golden stripes, catching dust in the air like floating time. The room smelled like paper, wood, and years I hadn't opened. My chest tightened before I even touched the first box. But something in me said, it's time. The first box wasn't heavy. But when I lifted the lid, it felt like opening a portal. Photographs. Hundreds of them. Loose prints. Faded corners. Smiling faces frozen in a world that felt like it belonged to someone else. Until I saw her. There I was. Young. Sun-kissed skin. Wind-tangled hair. Laughing so freely my eyes were nearly closed. I was standing on a beach, holding a margarita, wearing a bright orange bikini like I owned the world. No hesitation. No self-consciousness. No quiet thinking. Just joy. I touched the photo like it might disappear. Who were you? I whispered. But the real question was, where did you go? I felt warmth rise in my chest, followed by a soft ache. Memories I had folded away like old summer clothes came rushing back. Music, dancing, the feeling of being looked at like I was electric. I didn't even hear the basement door open at first. Surprise. I nearly jumped out of my skin. Bruce stood at the bottom of the stairs, holding a coffee cup like he'd just dropped by for a casual visit, which apparently he had. I hadn't seen him in 4 years. The boy I remembered was gone. In his place stood a man. Broader shoulders. Stronger jaw. Confidence settled into him like he had finally grown into his own skin. Bruce, when did you get here? Just now, he smiled. Saw your car. Figured you might need backup. Before I could protest, he was already beside me, brushing dust off a box like he belonged there. His eyes dropped to the photo in my hand. What's this? And before I could tuck it away, he saw. He stared. Longer than I expected. Then looked at me. Then back at the photo. This is you. I laughed nervously. My wild years. But something shifted in the air. Not inappropriate. Just surprised admiration. Like he was seeing a side of the world he didn't know existed. It's weird, he admitted softly. I've only ever known you as well, you know? Grandma Elizabeth. He looked at the photo again. But this version of you? She looks like she had stories. I felt something flicker inside me. Because no one had talked about me like that in a very long time. Not as someone who had been alive before becoming responsible, before becoming someone's wife, someone's caretaker, someone's memory keeper. Bruce saw the album beside me. Can we look through it? I hesitated. Some photos weren't just beach days and birthday cakes. Some were bold, carefree. A girl who didn't apologize for taking up space. But I saw curiosity in his face. Respect, not mockery. So I nodded. We sat on the basement floor, shoulder to shoulder, flipping through decades. College parties, road trips, dancing in nightclubs under neon lights. There was a photo of me in a backless red dress, mid-laugh, drink in hand. Bruce paused there. Wow, he said quietly. I could feel the air grow heavier. Not with discomfort, but with realization. He wasn't seeing an old woman. He was seeing a person. A full life. And I felt seen in a way I didn't know I missed. You were incredible, he murmured. And for the first time in years, I believed it. We didn't realize it then. But that photo album wasn't just paper and ink. It was a mirror. And once you see yourself clearly after years of looking away, you can't go back to sleep. Bruce turned another page slowly, carefully, like the pictures might break. You look happy in every single one, he said. I almost laughed at that. Happy. It's funny how a photograph can lie and tell the truth at the same time. I said softly. But I was also running. He looked at me. From what? I didn't answer right away. Because the truth was heavy. I grew up being told who to be. I finally said. Be polite. Be calm. Be chosen. Then I met David. And I stepped into the life everyone said was right. Good husband. Stable home. Respectable routine. Bruce nodded, listening the way people rarely do anymore. Not to reply, but to understand. But somewhere. I continued. I slowly packed myself away. Just like these boxes. I gestured around the basement. Dust-covered years. Unopened parts of me. Dreams labeled later, that never got opened again. Bruce picked up one photo, the beach one, and studied it. She looks fearless. I smiled. She was naive. He shook his head. No. She looks like someone who didn't apologize for existing. That landed deeper than he knew. Because when did I start apologizing? For my laugh being too loud. For my dress being too bright. For wanting more than fine. I had slowly turned my life into something quiet and acceptable. And grief had only made the silence louder. Do you regret it? He asked. The question floated between us. Honest and unguarded. I thought about David. He wasn't cruel. He wasn't bad. He was safe. But safety can sometimes cost you your fire. I regret not knowing I had a choice, I said. Bruce closed the album gently. Maybe you still do. I looked at him confused. A choice. He nodded toward the stairs leading back up into the house. Into daylight. You're still here. Still thinking. Still feeling. That means the story didn't end when you thought it did. That sentence stayed with me. After he left that afternoon. After we carried 3 boxes upstairs and laughed about old hairstyles and ridiculous 80s fashion. After the basement didn't feel quite as heavy. I sat alone at my kitchen table. The house was still quiet. But it didn't feel like a tomb anymore. It felt like space. And for the first time in 12 years, I didn't turn the TV on just to fill it. I let myself sit in the silence. And ask the question I had avoided for decades. What do I want? Not what's expected. Not what's appropriate. Not what's practical. What does Elizabeth want? The answer didn't come as fireworks. It came as small, steady truths. I wanted color back in my life. I wanted music playing while I cooked. I wanted to wear clothes because I liked them. Not because they were age appropriate. I wanted to say yes to invitations instead of defaulting to maybe next time. I didn't want youth back. I wanted aliveness back. And those are not the same thing. The next morning, I did something simple. I opened my closet. And I moved all the beige to one side. Then I pulled forward the blue dress I hadn't worn in 10 years because it felt too bright. I wore it to the grocery store. No one clapped. No one gasped. But I felt different walking through those automatic doors. Like the girl in the photo had taken one small step forward into my life again. Weeks passed. I joined a walking group. I signed up for a painting class even though I was terrible. I called an old friend I hadn't spoken to in 15 years because I thought it might be awkward. It wasn't. It was warm, easy, real. And every time I did something new, something slightly uncomfortable, something just for me, I felt that basement version of myself loosen its grip. The woman who thought her story had already happened. One afternoon Bruce stopped by again. He looked around the living room, now filled with fresh flowers, music playing softly, a half-finished painting on the table. "You've changed this place," he said. I smiled. "No. Irablia. I just moved back in." That album is still in my house. But it's not a time capsule anymore. It's not proof of who I used to be. It's a reminder that I'm still allowed to grow, to shift, to begin again. Even at 64. Maybe especially at 64. Because here's what nobody tells you. You don't stop being a person when you age. You just get quieter. Until you decide not to be. So if you're listening to this and thinking, "I missed my chance. I'm too old. It's too late to change." Let me tell you what that basement taught me. It's never the wrong time to unpack yourself. The only real tragedy is leaving parts of you in boxes you're too afraid to open. And that day? That dusty basement morning? It wasn't the day I found old photos. It was the day I found me. If this story stayed with you, you already know what to do. There are more confessions, more real moments, more lives unfolding right here. And trust me, the most unexpected chapters? They happen when you think the book is almost over. Some stories don't end. They wake us up. Subscribe because the next confession might feel a little too familiar.